Nations.
We welcome you inside beautiful Texas Stadium here in the great state. As we said, Texas, the city, the Dallas Cowboys right here, ready to host their very first home game in the American Football Association. It is week 2, game number 1, as we start, as I said, the second week. And we are so excited. A lot of great reviews, a lot of excitement around the league after a fantastic week 1, and we're set to go as the 2 expansion teams begin to square off. The Pittsburgh Steelers coming into town to face the Dallas Cowboys. Both of these teams had really strong efforts last week. The Steelers come up just short to the Cincinnati Bengals in week 1, while the Dallas Cowboys took their first victory last week over the St. Louis Rams. Good evening, everyone. Camera Duty here with you on the call. Me, myself, and I today here at Texas Stadium. 2 teams that, as we know, are storied in pro football history. Now those virtual logos and decals and iconic team colors are making a new home here in the AFA. And we are so excited for the anticipation and the potential that this little rivalry could have here in our league. The kickoff, here we go. Like I always say, you won't want to go anywhere for the next 4 quarters. And Pittsburgh gets us started with a return as we will welcome and introduce the starting lineup to you. The quarterback for the Steelers, Carson Steele, a gunslinging rookie. The halfbacks are Jeremiah James and Tommy Kilfigure. The wide receivers are Jackson Carter, Malik Sadneighbors, Chris Collinsworth, and Mark Jackson. At tight end, it is Dick Dangles, and at center, it's Chocolate Thunder. A good, strong roster here for the Steelers. First play from scrimmage is a throw, and we have a penalty to start things off today. We are expecting to see some pass interference there. It looked like by the motion of the wide out there that he was interfered. That is going against number 25 of the Dallas Cowboys, and that will be a free play. And the ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. So at about the 33-yard line here, which is where officially the Steelers will get their first play of completion over the middle, and it is incomplete. Carson Steele just a little off the mark. He was going for Chris Collinsworth. Let's look at the Dallas Cowboys defense, led by the defensive ends, Christopher Randall and Jace Washington. You've got defensive tackle Big Kevin Beers. The linebackers are Jack Maddox and Trey Ingram. The cornerback is Billy Millie, and the safeties are Storm Duck and Esteban Jacquez. As we see a play action, Steele throwing, has a man right down the middle in the soft spot, and it's Malik Sadneighbors for the first down. And that is a great throw by Carson Steele. Steele is a very, very exciting player to watch. A great energy about him as Tommy Hilfiger gets his first carry of the day, brought down by Trey Ingram. But back to Carson Steele. As I was saying, one of the young players here, his first game last week, impressed a lot of people in his debut against the Cincinnati Bengals. As we said, the Steelers coming up just a little bit short in that one, but they like what they've got in QB number 7, and they expect him to be able to rein it in. And right now, as you can see, putting a dime on these passes as he finds Malik Sadneighbors once more to the middle of the field. At times last week for Carson Steele, he had some fantastic accuracy. There was a couple of times, though, more than a couple, we should say. There was a handful of times that the interception bug certainly hit and made it difficult on their chances of victory. But that's something they expect to see cleaned up by the youngster as time goes on. Of course, as many times as they gave him the opportunity to throw the football, you will have that. And he'll throw once more. Steele letting it fly. There's an interception like we spoke it into existence. Some people will call that a commentator's curse, but I call that just really good defense by Esteban Jacquez, who comes in and snags this one out of the air. Look at him right there, just leaping with outstretched arms, and he takes it away from Carson Steele. So what started out to be a fantastic drive for Pittsburgh is going to end with no points, and instead it's a turnover, and we say hello to another very exciting rising star for the Dallas Cowboys and quarterback Willie Beeman as his man Kobe Flowers goes in motion. Here's a handoff up the middle. That's Lacey, and he picks up 3. As we mentioned, Beeman at quarterback, Evan Lacey and Isabella Maccabees are the 2 halfbacks. At wide receiver, it is Kobe Flowers and DeAnthony Mbambi. And at tight end, it's Coleman Carver. As we see man in motion on 2nd and 7, here's Beeman. He's going to throw short. Pretty good pickup on 2nd down. That's going to make this 3rd down much more easy to navigate, as that will bring up, as we said, a 3rd and 1 situation. Now, I want to apologize for one. Last week, as I was going over these rosters, I had unfortunately made a mistake there in aligning these rosters. So I actually, as we watch this play, as Evan Lacey gets the first down, I actually had a number or 2 wrong on the roster. So my apologies last week for that, for those that affected. Being a broadcaster here, it is my job and my responsibility to continue to bring the best presentation possible to you guys. And I feel like certainly went to the drawing board to do that again this week. It is early, a young league, and of course we'll continue to grow and learn together as we have a penalty, our second one of the day, and I think we're going to be a little forward pass here out of Willie Beeman. And that will be the case. Beeman stepping right on that line of scrimmage. Got one toe over the line. But it is a loss, and it brings up 2nd and 16. Classic Texas Stadium is where we're at today, as Beeman throws a halfback screen out of the backfield. And it is a nice job by the fullback, who is able to get out in some open spaces there and at the very least make a positive gain out of it. Not much, but keeping it from being a negative, and it's 3rd and 10. Let's mention this Steelers defense. The defensive ends are Marcus Kane and Billy Chong. The linebackers are Avery Akers and Old Betty. The cornerbacks are Tyron Voss and William Simpson. The safeties are Cam Chancellor and Josh Robin. Beeman throwing as a man almost had it intercepted. Going up and getting his fingertips on it was Cam Chancellor before he collided with the intended wide receiver. As we'll see in the replay here, watch up, and man, what a shot. That was D'Anthony Mbami, by the way, who took a shot at the end of that when he collided with Cam Chancellor. And honestly, that collision might have been the only thing that saved that interception. So, a reinvention of the classic rivalry between the Steel Curtain and the Doomsday defense, perhaps. Both of these defenses are playing lights out to start this one. Dallas cannot get any points off the turnover. And it's a good return here by Jeremiah James as he brings it out to the 44-yard line of Pittsburgh. This is the first of 3 games today on the AFA Network here on YouTube, as it is AFA Saturday. How cool is that to have our games all played here on this Saturday slate? Weekend football, you gotta love it. Here's Steele with another absolute dart. And more times than not, this guy is going to be on the mark, and there is another example. Watch him fit this in here. Nice opportunity, putting it where only the wideout can actually reel that one in out of harm's way. It's in a lot of those crossing patterns and those slants that it seems like he kind of gets in a little bit of trouble as Kilfigure takes the carry and rushes forward to pick up 4 yards. In doing preparation for this game, it was a lot of fun to take note that for the Cowboys defensive tackle Kevin Beers, you expect to see him making his way into the backfield. I think it's going to be, as we see that pass is incomplete, I think that'll be one of the big matchups today that we'll want to look for is Carson Steele against this pass rush. We mentioned Kevin Beers, and also they've got Christopher Randall and Jace Washington along that line, a very tough line indeed, and they made it difficult on King Wonder last week. And so you got to wonder what they might do here to Carson Steele if they can get in the backfield. 3rd and 6 coming. It's split backs behind Steele. He rolls out to buy some time. Here's a throw. Connects to Chris Collinsworth in traffic, but he fits it in there and is tackled by Storm Duck. Like I like to say, here's a guy, watch him, an out route and then cuts back in, as that was a byproduct, in my opinion, of Carson Steele, who was just trying to extend the play. So when the route was, at its completion, you've seen Collinsworth begin to improvise and cut back to the middle of the field, locks eyes with Carson Steele, and they get the first down. As Kilfigure gets a carry and picks up 2 running right side. So 2nd and 8. Ball just outside the 15-yard line here. They actually spot him at the 16. Collinsworth goes in motion as Steele drops back. He throws this one too far ahead of both quarterback, or should I say receiver, and defensive man. That was the linebacker Trey Ingram there who was in coverage, and neither one of them able to get a hand on that football. It flutters to the ground harmlessly. And it's 3rd and 8. So the Cowboys defense trying to make a really big stop here. Looks like everybody's going to be sent out wide here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steele takes the snap. Here's a throw. Has a man, and it is incomplete. Good coverage. Billy Millie, the cornerback, is a guy right there who we'll talk about, I'm sure, a lot in this game. But there's his first big play of the afternoon, and it does go for a deflection. And it's a 33-yard attempt now coming for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers without a contract kicker. This kick is up, and it is no good. And because of this, the fact that the Steelers don't have a contract kicker, well, sometimes you start to see this kind of thing happen with the generic players that the sim will place you with. The accuracy and the depth not as it's just not there. It's a player that has not had the opportunity to progress as these sim players do. Both the Cowboys and the Steelers are without kickers. So here is where I want to make a public service announcement after this play. Willie Beeman will throw. It is complete to Flowers as he picks up the first down. Public service announcement here, folks. At the AFA, we are still taking on new players. If you like what you see, hit the like button, share this video, connect with the AFA Discord server. When you get to the server, you will see the requirements, or should I say, the needs that each team has. Let's put it that way. And, of course, we know right off the bat, two teams that need a good kicker. If you feel like you can contribute to this team setting here, definitely connect with the server, get started, and we'll be glad to have you. That pass is off the hands of Kobe Flowers as that brings up 2nd and 10. And even if you don't want to be a kicker, there are other positions that are still available constantly, and you'll see it as this league and this season continues to progress. You will see players that get added to the roster as they come in. We start to integrate them into the ballgame. So the roster you see right now may not be the same roster you're looking at as the season goes on. Here's a great run by Evan Lacey, who kicks it out left side and left to try to chase him down is Josh Robin. And you see the speed coming over. He finally gets the angle, but not before Evan Lacey's able to tuck that football in and get that first down as this first quarter is moving. Inside, well, right at 2 minutes here as we see Evan Lacey, the halfback, going in motion. Here's the snap. And Beeman will take off on his own. He finds a little hole up the middle of the formation, and he slides after a 7-yard gain before the pressure and any of those black jerseys could get to him. Second and 3, and the Cowboys coming out again in the I formation. Just past midfield. Here's the snap. Beeman to Lacey. Lacey in traffic, navigating it nicely. Works his way out close to the 40, and he picks up the first down. And you see the Cowboys faithful there celebrating here in the stands. And, of course, in the chat, the live chat as well, that's certainly going on as we speak. And at home, folks, watching it on TV and iPads and iPhones and tablets, just getting tuned in and introduced to the American Football Association, with viewership growing every single week. Man in motion as that's Coleman Carver. Here's the throw. Lacey, halfback screen out of the backfield, has the speed and has the jets to turn it on. And he gets the first down before he gets hit along the sidelines. Great play. And, it's always a risky thing when you try to do a halfback screen there. The blocking's got to be right. And in this case, honestly, the defenders there of Pittsburgh, such as Tyron Voss, was in the backfield. But give credit to Evan Lacey and his maneuvers, right? His maneuverism, I guess is the right word I'm looking for there. And able to be shifty with great vision. He's able to pick up the first down as that's a great individual effort. Here's Lacey again up the middle. I like how they're utilizing him on this play. Avery Akers is able to bring him down, but not before a 5-yard gain. And the Cowboys getting closer to that red zone on 2nd and 5. Here's the snap. Lacey, this time wrapped up 3 times in a row. Not going to work. Avery Akers says, I know better than that. And he gets in the backfield, and that's a huge loss. And that is how we end quarter number 1. You're watching the American Football Association on YouTube. We'll be right back. Cameron Duty here on the call with you on game 1 of 3 on your afternoon slate here on the American Football Association Network on YouTube. And we start with the big 3rd and 10. Willie Beeman under center. Moves a man in motion as he's tied in Carver. As Beeman takes the snap. Drops back, pretty good pocket, unloads into double coverage, and it's off the hands of Kobe Flowers. I thought he was going to be able to bring it down, but when you got people like Tyron Voss in coverage back there, and that's Josh Robin as well, that's a tough catch to stick. And he fought for it all the way down to the turf, but in the end, the defense gets the better of it. And now we'll see if the Cowboys can put some points on the board by way of field goal. 44-yard attempt coming here. Cundiff with the snap. This kick is up and no good. I had made the comment on the previous drive for the Pittsburgh Steelers about how essential it is to have an active contract kicker. The Cowboys don't have one either. And there you see, although 44 yards is no chip shot, but it's a for these players in the sim that are not contracted players, it's very difficult when they don't have the progressions to work on their deep ball. And so you see it has actually bit both Pittsburgh and Dallas. We remain scoreless in the battle of these two AF expansion teams. Oh, there's a big hit on Sad Neighbors. I thought for a minute he's going to reel that one in, and the Cowboys come swarming. As we take a look at the spread chart here, pass and completion attempt chart for Carson Steele. He's found success more on the left to middle quadrant of the field. The right side hasn't been too kind to him yet. But a long way to go in this one.
Ball at the Steelers' 35-yard line.
Second and 10, three receivers to the top side. Here is Carson Steele, who takes the snap, throws quickly. It's a wide receiver screen, and his man has it, but not before he steps out of bounds. And that's going to bring up 3rd and 9. Cowboys defense again trying to make a stand here. And here is Steele. Going to throw down the seam complete. And he finds his big tight end. And yeah, celebrate there a little bit, big man. That is Dick Dangles. And look at Dangles here on a great route. And Dangles is a very, very stocky tight end. Of course, a very prototypical tight end in that way. But he's got good speed about him, too. And very short-handed in his short time here in the league. Certainly coming a long way and doing a really nice job at the position. Here's Sad Neighbors, who goes in motion. So now three receivers to the left. Steele going to take the snap, roll out left, and throw, and it is incomplete again. It's good coverage by Esteban Jaquez. These guys are hitting hard out here today. Collinsworth not having an opportunity to bring that one in, and he got blasted. You know, I mean, that's the appropriate term for it. They're very aware of where the football is at all times, and they're very physical. Both of these teams. We've seen big hits coming that have jarred the football loose. Still going to throw, looking for his man up and over, and I believe it is Sad Neighbors who brings it in. And you see some excitement, some exuberance there out of Sad Neighbors, as that was Esteban Jaquez who he beat in coverage. And in that matchup, it's actually Sad Neighbors who has the height advantage, as you can see. So all Carson still had to do was put that where the big man could get it. And it's 1st and 10. Still going to throw. Middle of the field, completes once more to Sad Neighbors, who does pick up the first down. On a crossing route underneath over the middle. Turns it into a first. Already today, he has been thrown to 5 times with 4 receptions.
1st and goal. Ball at the 10-yard line.
And 1st and goal. Who's going to be able to put the points on the board first today? Here's Steele throwing, floats it up. It's tipped. Almost intercepted. 2 or 3 Cowboys had their hands on that, and they couldn't come down with it. That would have been huge. That would have stopped what has been a fantastic drive and not giving Pittsburgh any opportunities to put any points on the board. But they get a chance and a little bit of a new lease on life here as Dangles goes in motion. Here is the halfback, Kilfigure, looking for a hold, and he finds a couple of yards. And that brings up third down. We invite you, just like the fans here, to grab a snack and a beverage and get comfortable. Back-to-back football games taking place here on the AFA this weekend. Here's a throw. There's a flag on the play. Now this is a touchdown if it stands for Mark Jackson, and we'll see what the call is. We're looking at interference. It's going to go against the Cowboys, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have a touchdown. Carson Steele finding Mark Jackson to finally break the 0-0 tie. And the kick is up, and this extra point is good. It took till 5:39 remaining in the first half for us to get the first points of the day, and it is Mark Jackson who gets the touchdown, and Carson Steele able to throw that TD, continuing an impressive rookie campaign early here in Season 2 of the AFA. Now the Cowboys with an opportunity to respond. They had a pretty good opening drive themselves, but they come up disappointed. Actually, their second drive. Let me check that. The first drive ended in a punt. This one, they went all the way down the field and could not connect on the long field goal. As you see the Steelers there celebrating with Mark Jackson, who made the big play. And you know it feels good when your number's called and you get that touchdown. The Dallas 28. Man here in motion. That's DeAnthony Mbami. And Beeman going to step up, and he's going to run. He's going to pretty good blocking just short of the first. They're going to say the knee went down just inches behind the first down sticks. Good job. We'll bring up a second. Paved a nice way for him to run. The wideouts also doing their job to block. Smart. And really not trying to take the hit there. He just tries to get down on the ground. He's got a pretty good set of legs on him. So it's 2nd and inches. And here is Lacey. Oh, nice job right there. Well, good. And Evan Lacey picking up the first down. I think this guy, he's going to be key here. Watch the block. What a great block by number 20 right there. Anderson of the Cowboys. He does a fantastic job of springing that run for Evan Lacey. But now Lacey is going to be a threat to deal with this season. For the Dallas Cowboys, somebody that these defenses are going to have to take into consideration. I think the more they utilize him, the easier this game becomes for Willie Beeman, as that pass is incomplete and it floated through the air quite a while there. I was certainly getting concerned that it could be another potential interception out there. We've seen the interception bug has been heavy this season in the AFA. I think it speaks, to a lot of the competition that we're seeing out here right now with some defenses that have really been ramped up and are extremely competitive. And Lacey with a big hole and a big burst. One man to beat, and Robin has to literally climb on his back just to bring him down. I thought for a minute Lacey was going to outrun all of them. What speed out of number 4. Watch this, a little hesitation before he takes the handoff, and then watch him just shoot out of the gate, and watch him turn the Jets on right here. And it was so close to being a foot race down the sideline. Josh Robbins says, I better take care of this while I can. Then literally just kind of climbs on the back of Evan Lacey. Already up to 54 yards on the day today with 8 rushes. Quickly moving our way here towards halftime. Willie Beeman going to scramble, throw, steps up, has his man. It's a touchdown for DeAnthony Mbami. And it is a great drive, a great response for the Dallas Cowboys. A nice retaliatory strike for the boys in silver and blue. And they are an extra point away from tying this up. Willie Beeman stepping up in the pocket and delivering a strike. That was Tyron Voss, who almost had the interception, but just kind of misjudged it, honestly, by what looked to be like a few inches here.
Billy Cundiff to attempt the extra point.
So 4:07 remaining in the second quarter, and if Cundiff is able to take the extra point here, we've got ourselves a tie ball game, and we do. All tied at 7 with 4:07 remaining. In the first half, that was a 5-play, 72-yard drive, and in the end, it is DeAnthony Mumbami who does get the touchdown. Let's also give credit to Evan Lacey, who on that drive had some big-time runs that certainly helped propel the team down the field. And like I said, with 4:07 remaining in the half, we'll see what the Pittsburgh Steelers can come up with. Here is a return by Jeremiah James. He brings it out to the 26-yard line. And Willie Beeman getting dialed in there with his offensive coordinators and everybody going over the previous drive there and the plays, trying to take what worked and fix what didn't. 1st and 10 here for the Steelers. It is a draw up the middle. That's Kilfigure who picks up 4.
Number 53 with the tackle.
As I said, folks, we're getting closer to the AFA halftime report, so stick around for halftime stats analysis. We'll take a look at the highlights of the first half as well as talk about what we expect to see in the second half, and that's coming up in just about 3 minutes and some change. Boy, Kilfigure gets ran over by this Dallas Cowboys defense. They anticipated run, and that's a pretty sizable loss there, and sets up 3rd and 6 for Carson Steele and the Pittsburgh Steelers. With a man in motion. Here's the rollout left side. Steele going to throw that direction. It's batted away. Good defense by the Dallas Cowboys there, as Peterson really didn't have an opportunity to be in position to try to get the interception, but he is able to get an outstretched hand there to deflect it away. And this is a short Pittsburgh drive. They'll have to punt it away, and this should give the Cowboys solid field position. It'll be fielded at the 30, returned by Maccabees, who brings it out to the 38-yard line. 3:05 remaining here in the second quarter. In the first game of our second week of Season 2 here in the AFA. Beeman with the I formation look. Takes the snap. Drops back with a good pocket. Throwing. Has a man cleanly downfield. That's Kobe Flowers. Flowers had a big game last week, and he's already on pace to have another one today. Meanwhile, we take a look at the stats of Willie Beeman. 123.4 pass rating at the moment. And it's a 1st and 10. One man in the backfield, that's Evan Lacey. Here goes Flowers in motion from left to right. Under center. Beeman takes the snap. Hands to Lacey. Tries to turn the corner instead of going up the middle. I think he missed the hole there, honestly. And it's a good tackle. Avery Akers in on the stop. And it is 2nd and 11 now coming up.
2nd and 11. Ball at the 44-yard line.
Empty set here. As there's a throw off the hands of Coleman Carver. Had it right there on his hands. And you see he took a shot there at the almost at the same time he was trying to reel it in. So it brings up 3rd and long. We're just shy of the 2-minute warning. Again, empty set. Look at the Steelers showing pressure here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 men up on the line. Here is the pressure. Beeman stands in there, delivers a strike. And I think all that pressure up front allowed a good route to be run by Kobe Flowers. And not much in the way of any kind of aid for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the backfield there. You always look for some troops to be able to retreat and help you. And he didn't have any. It was one-on-one coverage by Tyron Voss. That brings us to the 2-minute warning. You're watching the AFA on YouTube. Cameron Duty here with you in Dallas, Texas, Texas Stadium, the hole in the roof. You know what they say about the hole in the roof? That's so God could watch the Cowboys play. Well, it's so it adds an incredible appeal, a visual design for you folks here in the AFA. You all get a chance. You don't need a hole in the roof to watch this fantastic action. And here's a great reception, and that's Coleman Carver, the tight end, coming up big in traffic. And his big body there, that big frame, just too much for Josh Robin to take on. And it's 1st and goal for the Dallas Cowboys outside the 5-yard line. Defensive line shifts. Beeman takes the snap, throws quick 3-step drop, and it's batted away. Good defensive pressure there by Josh Robin once more. Also Tyron Voss, you see him featured on your screen. 2nd and goal. 89 seconds remaining here in the half. Beeman with time, throws back in the end zone, and it's a toe tapper. And how about the wideout? Kobe Flowers with the touchdown. One of the prettiest receptions you will see this entire season. Watch him stutter step and put the weight of the world on those 2 toes. And he's able to secure, safely fasten the football. And the Cowboys take the lead. The extra point here by Cundiff is good. It's 14-7 after a 7-play, 62-yard drive that only took 1 minute and 39 seconds. Ends in a touchdown to Kobe Flowers, who's putting up big numbers early in this season. And for the Steelers, who took the first lead of the day, now finds themselves down by 7. It's brought out by Jeremiah James. He gets across the 20. Not much more after that. As we take a look at the Pittsburgh Steelers' possessions, as you see, they had the touchdown drive. After that, though, it's been a punt, a missed field goal, and an interception to start the day. So the Steelers here trying to find a little bit of consistency in their drives, a little bit of a repetition, some rhythm. They'll start from the 23. Minute 22 remaining in this half. You got Sad Neighbors, who goes in motion and still takes the snap. Here's a throw over the middle, almost intercepted, all over the hands of Trey Ingram. He was all over that one like a cheap suit. Billy Muley was also there in the area, but he couldn't come down with the interception. Neither of them could, as a matter of fact. So back to the action we go. The clock will be stopped after that incompletion with 1 minute 18 remaining. Now time beginning to be a factor, and you wonder for the young quarterback Carson Steele, 2-minute drive here. Going to have to navigate this very, very carefully. Here's Collinsworth, goes in motion. Steele going to throw, double coverage, batted away again. More great defensive efforts here by the Dallas Cowboys, who are starting, I think, to get under Carson Steele's skin just a little bit. That secondary has been lights out the past couple of drives. A 4-man front here for the Dallas defense as it shifts. Here's the snap. Steele, pressure coming. Kevin Beers trying to chase him down, and he does. And the Cowboys get up and call a timeout. Kevin Beers won't be credited with a sack because Carson Steele was able to get out and get some positive yards there, but it is a 4th and 7. And now the Dallas Cowboys here with an opportunity to put some points on the board before the half. and try to extend that lead. That was, again, another very short drive for Pittsburgh. And here's a good return by Isabella Maccabees out to the 46, and now Dallas just, virtually starting at midfield. A good opportunity here to take some shots and at least try to work their way into field goal range to give Cundiff an attempt to try to make up for the first miss of the day. Here's Beeman. He takes the snap, pressure coming. He throws, tipped away. William Simpson in the coverage. Scary moment there for the Cowboys. But it's a good deflection and brings up 2nd and 10.
Second and 10. Ball at the Cowboys' 46-yard line.
2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Here's the snap. Play action. Late throw. Coleman Carver, don't know if he really was ready for it when it came his way. He made an attempt at it, but it falls incomplete. So now the Cowboys are at risk here of not being able to capitalize on the field position that they've been given. And the Pittsburgh Steelers could have a chance to get the ball back with a decent amount of time remaining to try to work with if the Cowboys cannot convert on 3rd and 10. Beeman drops back. Pressure coming. He's going to have to throw short, and that is where it will stay. Coleman Carver comes up with the reception, but not much more. Interestingly enough, the Steelers are now opting to not take a timeout and let the clock run. We'll see how long Dallas decides to let the clock run here before snapping for this punt. At 30 seconds, they snap it, and they'll try to pin the Steelers deep. It's fielded at about the 14. Jeremiah James brings it up to the 27-yard line with 21 seconds remaining. And then, as I said, you will have the AFA halftime report coming your way just shortly after. Still hikes his leg, signals motion for Sad Neighbors. Now 3 receivers to the left. It's a toss. Kill figure coming at you. Crosses the 30, 35, 40, 45. Good running there, and he gets out to the 50. Now with 10 seconds remaining, instead of deciding to call a timeout, it looks like Pittsburgh are going to opt to try to get the defense off guard and throw quickly. It's incomplete. I feel like it's an interesting decision to go no huddle there. Yeah, if you take the timeout, you got a little more opportunity to work your way downfield. And that leaves them with 2 seconds left and an opportunity from the midfield stripe to at least have one Hail Mary. And everybody is going to the house. Here is the snap coming at you. Final seconds of the half. Still deep. Has a man. Oh, it's Collinsworth. Touchdown. Oh, can you believe it? And that is how we end the first half. Forget everything I said. I thought that they hadn't left enough time to make a big play. Carson Steele, beautiful throw. The secondary collapses, sprinting down the field past all of them. It's Chris Collinsworth. And I said Kobe Flowers may have one of the most impressive catches of the season just a series ago. Well, how about Chris Collinsworth? That is amazing. The extra point is up and good. And it's a tie ball game. How about, like I say, here's a guy, Chris Collinsworth, ties it up on a dart by Carson Steele. That will give your young quarterback confidence. We go to the halftime break, knotted up at 14, and an incredible start to the week here in week 2 of season 2 of the AFA. We welcome you in to the AFA halftime report. Cameron Duty here with you, and you see it's been a pretty evenly matched game up to this point. The only difference really in the yardage is the fact that the Cowboys have more rushing yards than passing yards. That's because they've been relying on Evan Lacy quite a bit. Other than that, It's been pretty well dispersed, as you can see. The one turnover so far, the Cowboys playing perfect football. As we get a chance to look at some of the highlights of the day, big plays early on in this one by both the quarterbacks and their wide receivers. Also, there have been some mistakes. We've seen an early interception by Carson Steele, and then a couple of series where both the Cowboys and the Steelers were neither able to tack on any kind of field goal attempts as they hit the uprights for both of those squads. So it was nothing until about 5 minutes left in the second quarter, and now you see the explosiveness in the final 5 minutes. Both teams able to put 14 points on the board. And now we go into the half, as we said, that last ditch effort, that beautiful Hail Mary, as you see Chris Collinsworth celebrating, and the Cowboys just kind of looking on with a little bit of confusion and frustration that they let that Hail Mary get by them in that prevent defense. Here is our player to watch as we go into the third quarter. Yeah, it's Carson Steele. He has only completed 10 passes today, but he's thrown for 188 yards and 2 touchdowns, and the ones he's completed have been crucial. As we welcome you back here to Texas Stadium for the start of the third quarter. And just who knows what this quarter will bring, and the following fourth after that. So the Cowboys will get the ball to start the third quarter here, and that's an interesting note. And you know they're going to feel like they got a little bit of a sour taste in their mouth, like I said, after giving up the big Hail Mary on defense. Their offense had been able to fight hard to put them up late in this second quarter. Now they're going to have to try to, once again, reclaim that lead as Maccabees brings this one out. And you see for the Cowboys, their time of possessions as well as the results of those drives. Both of their touchdown drives, just about a minute and a half roughly for both of those drives. So didn't take them too long to strike. That's an important thing to take note of, I believe. We certainly know that the way that this game is going, it may come down to whoever has the football last. And if that's the case, there may not be too much time left on the clock. Here's Willie Beeman dropping back, going to throw another dart, but it's bobbled and off the hands of Kobe Flowers. Flowers looking for a little bit of assistance from the referees there, hoping to get a penalty for some interference, but none coming. As you see Beeman's pass chart there. On that left side, the lower left quadrant, you see he is 3 of 3. And a touchdown. Pretty good balance here by the Cowboys as well. 30 plays up to this point, 18 pass and 12 rushing plays. So here's 2nd and 10. Willie Beeman going to step up, throw, and I think they're going to get him again for that forward pass. That is illegal as he stepped past the line of scrimmage. That is something that we do tend to see every so often out of the formations that can be run here. Eric Alexander of the Bengals, another one that I can think of that sometimes does that. Now here's an interesting challenge, as Dallas is going to challenge the call that it was an illegal forward pass. We've seen this in week 1. Before that, I hadn't seen this type of play or this type of challenge on a play. Let me clarify. And it looks to me from that angle, I don't know if we'll get a second angle at it. That may be the best one we have. If the refs have to make a decision here, they may try to overturn this. It looked like Beeman was behind the line and that the officials were. As we see, the call is overturned. It looks as if maybe the officials are, certainly they've been told to keep an eye out for that type of play here. As you see, and as I mentioned, Alexander, for the Bengals, he likes to try to exploit the run and go there as he steps up close to the line of scrimmage. So certainly it's been put in their ear to keep a look for those type of plays. But the officials get it wrong that time. And so while it's not a completion, it does give back the 5 yards. And now Dallas has a 3rd and 10 situation coming. Beeman with a good pocket. He unloads. It's off the mark, looking for his wide out Coleman Carter, and he comes up just a little bit frustrated there.
Deshae Townsend with the coverage.
as Carver not able to bring it in, and the Cowboys will have to punt it away on their first series of the third quarter. Not able to take advantage of having the football first in the half. So here's a punt that should give the Steelers some decent field position to start. It's fielded inside the 30, back to the 38 comes Jeremiah James. He's been a workhorse early in this game with kick returns and punts. Same can be said for Isabella Maccabees as well. So 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line comes Carson Steele and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's a snap, middle of the field, all kinds of traffic, and it falls to the ground incomplete. Luckily for Carson Steele. Jack Maddox, the middle linebacker there, is going to be credited with the deflection. So it's interesting. Both of these teams look like they are ready to come out and throw the football. You know, we've seen the ground attack working really well for the Cowboys early on. Lacey or any of the backs didn't even get a touch on their first series of the third. And here's Steele slinging it. And he finds his man, Sad Neighbors, picking up the first down. And, you know, what a great duo these two have been today. 5 catches for 91 yards for Sad Neighbors and 61 yards on 2 catches for Collinsworth, not to mention that big touchdown at the very end of the half to tie this thing up. I want to give a shout out to Dorian and our folks at the DVSN as they have been championing this AFA league. Look at this run. Caught me mid-sentence there, and I kind of stopped for a moment. Tommy Hilfiger, I thought he was going to be able to break loose for a minute. He gets close to the first down. Back to the DVSN. As I said, they are championing our fantastic program here, our fantastic product that we have, as they have been able, with a great squad over there led by Dorian to provide highlights, as well as they show some of the games on their network, trying to reach a new audience, a new exposure for the AFA, and we appreciate that partnership. So again, a big thanks to Dorian and the folks at the DVSN for what they have going on and their contributions and their interest in the American Football Association. Big play coming here on 3rd and inches. Here is a snap, and Hilfiger, you see him have to kind of squirm his way around there. His first point of entry was blocked, so he had to bounce out to the left side. He finds a small hole, just enough to get those inches that he needs for the first down. Now it strips to the right. About that very moment there, you see the audible, or at least the motion signal there by Carson Steele. Here's the snap, toss play left side to Hilfiger, and not going to get anywhere. That is an immediate tackle by the linebacker, Trey Ingram. 2nd and 10.
Ball at the 35.
Shotgun formation for Steele. One of his men in the backfield moving up to the line here to provide blocking. It is a draw on 2nd down. And the big man, Kevin Beers, comes up with a very important tackle. And now that will bring us to a 3rd down attempt coming here for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who came out slinging the rock in the 3rd quarter. But since then, they've kind of developed into a more methodical rush attempt, but we do expect them to go to the air here. The Cowboys line shifts. Pressure picked up nicely, but it's a little too far out front of the intended wideout, and the Cowboys able to deflect it away. And once again, like I said, it will be a punt now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we see the defenses, that Doomsday defense getting the better of Pittsburgh on this drive, and we've seen the Steel Curtain do their job in the previous series. Now they'll get ready and go back to work against the Cowboys offense. This punt, fair catch called for at the 13-yard line, where Dallas will take over. 4:45 remaining here in the third. We want to remind you that we've got more great AFA action that's going to be coming your way. Coming up next at 6 p.m., you will have the Oakland Raiders going into Paul Barron Stadium to take on the Cincinnati Bengals in their first home game of the season. And then As we take a look at this play here, man, Anderson trying hard to find some room to run, but couldn't get it. That's a really nice tackle made by the Pittsburgh Steelers. So as I said, 6 p.m. Raiders and Bengals, that's Eastern time. At 8 p.m. Eastern, it's your AFA game of the week. As you will see, the Patriots and the Rams square off. Look at Willie Beeman go! Go, Willie, go! They're saying here in Dallas as he slides after a big first down game. Like I said, this guy is really, really good. Good speed about him. And I tell you what, he couldn't really predict it. You know, hindsight is always 20/20. But the fact of the matter is that the defender kind of swerved around him. Had he stayed up on his feet, he could have blown right by him. Evan Lacy now with a big run for a gain of 5. Now we see the ground attack coming.
2nd and 5. Ball at the Cowboys' 34-yard line.
On 2nd and 5, here is motion for Kobe Flowers. Here's Lacy with some nice juke moves as he jumps to the outside, and he does pick up the first down. Well, how about this? What a difference that this third quarter looks from the second quarter. The second quarter looked different from the first. So point being made is that each quarter has presented something different in it. Here's Flowers, complete down the middle. Willie Beeman with a great arm. Finding Kobe Flowers. And you know, this third quarter, as I said, it features a more balanced attack, I believe, from both of these squads. I can see that both Pittsburgh and Dallas, they're not leaning too heavily on one or the other as they've come out here in this third. One thing that it's done is actually caused this third quarter to move pretty quickly here, as we're already down to 2:45 remaining in the third frame. Beeman to Lacy, picks up 3.
Number 4, the ball carrier.
And that's about all he has on that run. This feels like the type of game, to me, folks, that certainly could come down, like I said, to the final possession, to a field goal to try to win it at the last minute. Who knows? Hey, we've seen the field goal kickers have some woes today, and this one, maybe that's their chance to get some redemption. One-handed grab, are you kidding me? How about it, Kobe Flowers? Spectacular catch in traffic. And again, this is Willie Beeman saying, I'm going to give it to you, man. See what you can do with it. Look at this. I would like to say that he put it right where his receiver can get it, but that's not true. He put it to where one arm of Kobe Flowers could get it, and he trusted him enough to come up with an incredible reception. Boy, Kobe Flowers making some people talk here early on. Look at Beeman. Oh, he swallowed up. The first sack of the day, if I'm not mistaken, for Willie Beeman. He goes down as he tried to scramble out. And that's Clark Hagens, who I believe they're going to spotlight there on that. And I don't think it's going to be called a sack, per se. He was tackled at the line of scrimmage.
Ball at the 30-yard line.
2nd and 10. Lacy going to get some of that yardage back. Boy, watch him go. Watch him churn the legs. He takes Josh Robin about 3 or 4 yards downfield before he is tackled. And that's an important play because that gets him out of a potential 3rd and long situation. It's now 3rd and 3. Here's Beeman. Under center to Lacy. He needs 3 yards, but he has a big old hole to run through. They get him down at the 5-yard line. He looked like he was on his way as he gets a celebratory congratulations from tight end Coleman Carver there on a great run. And how about Carver as well and company helping out with the blocking here. Look at this out front. You could have drove a semi-truck through there. I guess you could say a Bubba rig could have come through there. But Evan Lacy closing in on 100 yards today on 14 carries. 1st and goal inside the 5. Man in motion. They give it back to Lacy. He's stopped right at the line of scrimmage, and I swear he reminds me of a virtual Barry Sanders in some ways. I know that he's got the blue and silver of Dallas on, but sometimes when I watch Evan Lacy, I see some of that stutter step, that shifting left to right motion, that the hesitation too that Barry Sanders is so good for. I see that in Evan Lacy. Are we going to get one more snap here in the third? We do. Beeman to Lacy. Doesn't get in. Doesn't go the way they wanted it to. Folks, we're going to quarter number 3. Or number 4, I'm sorry. Listen, that third quarter went so fast, it's like you blink and you miss it. I'm not ready for the fourth. This game is all tied up. Tied at 14. Steelers, Cowboys. You're watching the AFA on YouTube. Gamer Duty here on the call with you. Like I said, man, that may be the fastest third quarter that I have ever lived. I'm not sure. But we got an important third and goal right here to start the fourth. Willie Beeman going to throw, unloads, tipped away by Josh Robin. It's incomplete. And the steel curtain able to hold on here. It was a big defensive stand because it looked like Evan Lacy was just about to run absolutely wild with this drive, and the steel curtain able to do their job. It's Cundiff on for a 22-yard attempt to try to give the Cowboys the lead, and the kick is good. 17-14 the lead now. That was a nearly 5-minute drive. Of course, you have a 14-play 5-minute drive. That is why a third quarter will certainly seem so condensed. Time of possession is huge here in this game. 7:54 remaining. Here's the kick. And a return coming here by Jeremiah James as he brings it out to the 24-yard line, which is where Pittsburgh will take over. So 1st and 10 on the 24-yard line for Carson Steele and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The shadows are growing long here at Texas Stadium. Sad neighbors going in motion. Up the middle with Kilfigure. He may get 2 at most. Brings up 2nd and 8.
2nd and 8. Ball at the Steelers' 26-yard line.
Three receivers to the right in this formation, and now we see Dick Dangles moving back to the left. Still going to roll right with pressure coming. Throws into traffic, and it's an interception. Esteban Jaquez going to pick him off. Where have we seen that story before? Steele certainly has progressed in this game. The interception bug is, it's been cleaned up to a point. Not as many as week 1, but still 2 interceptions on the day, and both of them coming to Esteban Jaquez. My goodness. And now the Cowboys with an opportunity to put some more points on the board if they can play their cards right here. They've got incredible field position. Here's a throw. Coleman Carver. Nobody's going to catch him. Touchdown, Dallas. Wow. How about Coleman Carver? And Willie Beeman and company just thinking, man, what an opportunity we've got here. We got to take advantage of it. They waste no time. One play on that drive, and you see a disgusted Carson Steele on the sidelines. Look at the throw right over the helmet of Josh Robin. And after that, it's just Avery Akers to try to track him down. So 7:12 left in this game, and now the Cowboys, this is the largest lead by anybody today. With the extra point, it is a 10-point lead. 24-14, Cowboys over the Steelers. It took one play and just 5 quick seconds. Now, still plenty of time for the Steelers here. They just have to protect the football. I think we can safely say that that has been the chink in the armor right now of the Pittsburgh Steelers early in this season. They have been in each and every game that they have played. In the end, though, it's been the turnover bug that has, unfortunately, at least in week one, decided the outcome of that game. And, you kind of worry about season two here, or week two here in season two. 1 yard gain. Second and 9. Three receivers to the right. Collinsworth moves in motion and comes over to the left. Steele with a nice pocket throws. That one's off the hands of his intended target. And so a big 3rd and 9 coming. This Cowboys defense has really found a way to, you know what? I think they had a little bit of motivation, did they not? They gave up the big Hail Mary at the end of it, into the first half to allow Pittsburgh to tie the game up. But since then, this Cowboys defense has been perfect. Let's see if that continues here. Big 3rd down coming. Pressure coming. The throw up, tipped. Jaquez almost had his 3rd interception. Oh, it was so close. The Steelers will have to punt it away, so they'll push the Cowboys farther down the field. But, man, that was just a hair away, from becoming a big-time INT. Here's a return by Maccabees. Nice return out to midfield where they'll start. So 1st and 10 on the 49-yard line. Here comes Willie Beeman. Really impressed a lot of people in his first 2 weeks. Here's Lacey. Gets the carry and is stopped. Well, pretty easily there in his tracks by this Pittsburgh defense.
2nd and 8.
And honestly, this Pittsburgh defense, with the exception of, a play or two, like that last play, on the last drive, the Coleman Carver, they've played a pretty good game on defense. Just a couple of plays that have got by them there has made all the difference. And Cowboys getting the points off the turnover is another. And look at Lacey today, man. He is just, as he goes over the century mark, he has been such a workhorse for Dallas. And, I love watching these two young teams. I love watching any team in the AFA, but these teams are so impressive because they're so young, but they're so competitive. And having them at such a dynamic. Lacey gets the 1st down, running hard. And old Betty was trying everything he could do to get old Evan Lacey down and would not be denied. But I love watching these two young teams. They bring an exciting dynamic as we've expanded from 4 teams to 6 here in the AFA. Beeman! Oh, he had nowhere to go. And down goes Willie Beeman. Sacked by Marcus Kane. Big number 69. Beeman tried to duck out of some early pressure, and then he didn't see Marcus Kane coming around the edge. Loss of 6 on the play. Pittsburgh Steelers defense maybe needed that to keep themselves in this game. So 2nd and long, inside of 5 minutes left. In motion. Here's a throw up, and somehow, guess who? Kobe Flowers comes down with it. And so the 2nd and long turns out to be a 1st down here for Dallas with Willie Beeman throwing a beautiful pass right to the outside there of Kobe Flowers. And that's not bad coverage at all. And look at Flowers. You talk about going over the century mark. Lacey over 100 yards rushing. Flowers now 109 yards receiving. I think this Cowboys defense is starting to put people on high alert. Here's Lacey. Pretty good blocking again out front. Picks up about 3. Gets close to the 20. And I tell you what, if the Cowboys are able to get a touchdown here, it's a uphill climb for the Steelers. With the time running down, ticking away like sand through the hourglass. Defense needs a big stop. 2nd and 7. Here's Lacey. Hits the hole. Short of the first, but not by much. They got him at the very end as he tried to lunge forward. They actually stood him up and kind of twisted him, pushed him backwards. And 3rd and 1 coming here for the Dallas Cowboys. As you see the clock game already in full effect, trying to take some time down. They're just taking their time in the huddle. I formation. Lacey looking for a hole. Has one. Watch the knees churning as he goes down. And he picks up the first. Now inside of 3 minutes left in this ball game. And the Cowboys can smell victory. An opportunity for Dallas to move to 2-0. They'll be the first team to do it here this season. We'll see if the Bengals and Patriots can join them. The other two teams that won in week 1. Lacey left side. Got the edge. Touchdown, Evan Lacey. And that will be what puts the icing on the cake in a second half that was all Dallas Cowboys. Look at Lacey here running hard. And like we said, William Simpson, the only one who can make an attempt to stop him, and it's not enough. Cundiff on for the extra point. Snap just a little bit low, but handled nicely. And it's a 31-14 ball game. 9 plays, 51 yards. And I got to tell you, folks, this game, if Pittsburgh's not able to score anymore, it could look, kind of one-sided when people look back on it, or they just see the final score if they're tuning in right here at the end of this game. Not the case, though. 14-all at the half. And at the end of the third, we were still there. And then this fourth quarter, Dallas has exploded. 2:20 remaining.
1st and 10, Pittsburgh.
Here's Steele rolling out, being tracked down, throws off the hands of Collinsworth. And boy, you know what though? I want to say, Chris Collinsworth, what a great young standout. He was here in season 1, but I think he really has found a nice home for himself in Pittsburgh, where he is, him and Sad Neighbors are clearly, considered wide receiver 1 and 2, and honestly, both of them could be considered wide receiver 1. There's Collinsworth as I speak about him. Picks up the first down. You see, look here what they've both been able to do today. 91 yards for Sad Neighbors, and Collinsworth has 72 yards and a touchdown. Final snap before the 2-minute warning. Still going to throw off target, incomplete. And that will bring us to the 2-minute warning. Pittsburgh trying to get a late drive going here as you're watching the American Football Association on YouTube.
2nd and 10. Ball at the Steelers, 33.
Cameron Duty with you on the call. Final 2 minutes of this game. Big thanks to Brady White, commissioner here of the AFA, for all he does, and his staff at getting these streams going. This pass off the mark, just barely. More of it being good defense by the Cowboys. Billy Millie back there. Look at Steele. He actually does do a good job of putting this one right here on Sad Neighbors. Maybe a little bit out in front. Storm Duck was there as well. And here's 3rd and 10.
Let's make the stand here, baby. There's no fuel left in their tank. Single down.
Line shifts, and here comes Steele. Got to throw deep again, trying with all of his might. That's Collinsworth. It's incomplete. Looked like a replay of the first, or the play prior with Sad Neighbors. This time, Collinsworth was the intended target. Storm Duck again down there in coverage. And this is a 4th and 10. Here's the ball game for Pittsburgh. Here comes Steele. Play action, rolling out right side, trying to buy him some time. He does. Collinsworth, no. Off his hands for a 3rd straight play. Storm Duck is asked to come up with a huge response. Carson Steele frustratingly goes to the sideline. And that is your ball game. You see Steele unload here and watch this one-on-one. Collinsworth backing, has it in his hand, and Storm Duck with the awareness to pop it out. A great job too, because he was fully behind Collinsworth there, and so he had to be very sound in making that hit. Couldn't hit him too early. That's a pass interference. But Storm Duck hits him right on time, pops the ball out. And an impressive day by Dallas, just about to conclude. Here's Maccabees with a run. 9 yards, close to the first, gets pushed out of bounds. So thoroughly impressed with Dallas, and really both these teams. Honestly, the Steelers did not play a bad game at all. Like I said, the score is not a good representation of the type of football that was played today. In the end, unfortunate timing on turnovers and the defense giving up a couple of big plays. And now that is the point that I would love to touch on, is Maccabees with a great stutter step. She's not through yet as Pittsburgh takes a timeout. This comes back to what I'm talking about, though. Like I said, the Steelers just had a couple of bad plays today. Really, that's the only thing that you can say. But that speaks, I think, of the margin for error around here with the competition between these 6 teams. Any team can win on any given week. And I have to say that due to that, that means that you can't make many mistakes because you don't have a lot of opportunity to make up from those mistakes. Like I said, for the Steelers, as we see them take a second timeout, like I said, a couple of interceptions today. One of them, they did not have to worry about any points off of turnover. The second one, though, yeah, it does bite them. They had some missed field goals, and then they had some drives that just did not look good. Really, more importantly, just plays that did not look good as Maccabee stays in the field of play, and that's a 3rd and final timeout for Pittsburgh. But, that tells you that those little small things was all that it took for them to truly get behind in this game. And like I said, that speaks to the competitive nature of the American Football Association. Cowboys with an opportunity here to ice it. Big run by fullback here. Coming in late in this one. Hagens with the stop. Brings up 4th and 2. So the Cowboys could tack on 3 here. Within the final minute of this game, and Cundiff will come on to try to make it a full 20-point lead. This kick is good. And 34-14 the score with 44 seconds left in this ball game. Cundiff has redeemed himself nicely after an early miss. But like I said, folks, just putting this out there, both the Pittsburgh Steelers and Dallas Cowboys, again, they have 2 positions available. Kickers needed for both of these teams. If you're interested in joining, like I said, there's a starting point for you potentially. So check that out over at our American Football Association Discord server as James brings this one back. Ball on the 23-yard line, which is where Carson Steele and company will have a small window to work with. with no timeouts. Still, short little hook route. Clock will keep ticking away. That's a gain of 6. 219 yards on the day for Steele. Throwing complete to Collinsworth, out to midfield. Clock still moving. Like I said, cannot stop it here. They got to spike it to do so, and that leaves 16 seconds. Right now, if you're the Steelers, man, you just want to get some points on the board. They've not been able to get any points since that Hail Mary at the end of the second quarter. Scoreless third quarter. They do not want a scoreless fourth quarter. That leaves a bad taste in your mouth that you don't want to, have to go home with and wait until next week to get back out on the field to try to score. Complete again to Dangles. Can they snap it? They will get one more chance at it. And, hey, we know what they were able to do with a couple seconds remaining, right? In the second quarter, they got that big Hail Mary. We'll see if they can get some more points here late in this one. But you got to believe the Cowboys, as good as they have been, that's going to sting with them that they gave up that Hail Mary. The last thing they want to do is give up 2 Hail Marys. Here's the snap. Steele dropping back. Final play of the game. Heaves it up looking for another score again. Oh, Collinsworth was close, but it comes down incomplete. And that's the ball game. Dallas improves to 2-0. Their first win in front of the home crowd. They beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 34-14 as we now get set and welcome you in to our post-game report. You see the teams there giving their good games and high fives to one another as they make their way towards the tunnels to exit. Fans leaving the stands. And we welcome you into the post-game report. Final stats look like this. Cowboys win in the time of possession, a dominating third quarter, and a good chunk of the fourth. Total yards, Cowboys go over 400 yards on the day. The Steelers do put up 320. Passing yards, it's still beating Beeman, but in the end, it comes down to protecting the football, and Willie Beeman did a fantastic job of that. And so we see the highlights of the final 2 quarters here. And Esteban Jaquez, who I think has to be making a case for player of the game with the 2 interceptions. We'll see who it comes down to. You got Coleman Carver, had a big play. Lacey over 120 yards rushing. He's a potential for player of the game. And I got to tell you, it was a phenomenal day for the Dallas Cowboys. A great 2 quarters there for Pittsburgh, but the Cowboys were able to put 4 full quarters of football on display tonight. And they just got stronger as this game went on. And that's what you need. You need, from start to finish, you got to play tough. But, boy, you got to come on in the end when it matters most. And so we'll see who gets the player of the game. Well, it's going to be QB Willie Beeman for his efforts as we take a look at his stats. And we head to the next game, folks. Coming up, 6 p.m. Eastern, Oakland Raiders at the Cincinnati Bengals. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, you have the AFA game of the week, as it will be the Rams and Patriots squaring off for everyone here at the AFA. My name's Cameron Duty. Thank you for watching the American Football Association. I'll see you at 6 p.m. Eastern. Can't wait to do it again. Have a good rest of your afternoon. See you this evening, everybody.